Hi guys and welcome back. We are here with
back.
Eric Shendelman, Shendy from Shendy's Swim School, and we are talking all about swim safety today. So one of the first things you need to do is put on your
life jacket and get ready to go.
You know?
For everyone.
I know we're out of cottage season and not everyone has cottages or a pool, but your kids are often around water.
That's right, and it needs to properly be fit.
Okay.
So this one seems to be working
for
you.
Yeah, it's good. Not too big.
There you go, and the third clip for sure. And for the infants, there'll be a clip underneath.
So
keep them nice and secure.
We are very excited. My kids actually come to Shendy Swim Center, and they are phenomenal. I've never met them in his life.
Yeah.
They are phenomenal swimmers. I just want to see if we are here. We are live. Hold on one second. I am just checking right here because I want to share it to the Pink and Blue Facebook group. If any of you guys, here we are live right there. If any of you guys have any questions, please ask them because Shendy is...
I'm here for 20 minutes.
You're here for 20 minutes. Well, we could go a little longer if we need to.
Whatever
it's okay if you have the time.
Happy to help for this great cause.
Okay, awesome. Hold on. Hold on. It's playing while we're going. I don't want it to play. Okay, so Shendy, tell us, why did you build Shendy's Swim Center?
Well, originally back in 1992, I had been teaching swimming as a part-time job, greatest part-time job in the world.
How old were you?
I was 15 when I started.
Okay.
But I started Shendy's in 1992, and I rented facilities around the city for 20 years.
Okay.
And then after 20 years, I decided to build this center because I really wanted control over the heat, the pool temperature, and basically wanted to make something that I knew would help kids learn how to swim. I'd be able to train lifeguards, train instructors, and basically teach life-saving and learn to swim programs under my own roof.
Right.
I will say this, that I am a one-stop shop. We offer all programs here at Shendy's, but we also have some amazing facilities out beyond Shendy's where people are running their own programs and teaching kids to swim. We all have to do our part. So to my colleagues out there that may be watching, thumbs up to you. And to everyone that is working on the Canadian National Drowning Prevention Plan to ensure that we lower the drowning rate in this country, where we had almost 500 drownings, unfortunately,
wow, really?
in Canada. And there were over 350,000 drownings in the world.
Wow.
We want to do our part and
make sure
teach
the kids are safe.
Yeah.
So do you see, I know I'm going off track a little bit of what we were going to discuss.
That's okay, as long as you got your life jacket
yes,
on.
Exactly. As long as I'm safe. And I have, under it, I have my Shendy shirt now. You can't even see it.
Wait, because when you get wet, you'll need your Shendy's microfiber towel. Let's move on.
Oh, I heard about the microfiber towel.
Yeah.
A friend of mine purchased this and brought it to my mother-in-law's pool this summer.
Fabulous.
It's a fabulous towel.
It's wonderful. It wicks all the water
I
away.
actually wanted to use it for my counters in my house.
I was going to place this over the table. I didn't want to waste your towel. So anyways, that's a parting gift. Carry on.
Okay, thank you. So my question to you is that a lot of people have these fences around their pool and to prevent drowning.
Yes.
So I know that it's actually a sad story. I don't know if you've heard about this story. You know, there was somebody that renovated their house. They just did their backyard. They put in a pool. It's actually a very sad story. The wife wanted to put a gate around the pool or a fence, and the husband didn't want to ruin the pool, and their kid actually drowned.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
We hear stories like this all the time. The reality is, there's also a World Health Organization report out there which says that drowning is a world problem.
Right.
And every country has to do their part, every community has to do their part to avoid such accidents. I believe it's the number 2 out of 10 things that we can do to save lives, and that is to fence off pools and waterfronts so young children that cannot swim yet don't get caught in such a trap, because that's what it is. So I would highly recommend
I know that you were saying that one of the things is that parents, you know, kids, and I often saw it at your school, and it was very funny because there's a big glass at Shendy, so you could actually watch your kids swimming, which is amazing, and it's one of my favorite things about it. But besides that, So my husband is a dunker. He likes to he actually did swimming lessons for I think 19 years or something crazy, and he taught swimming as well.
Right.
But he used to shove the kid's head. So we're just gonna take, baby Sam over here.
Yeah,
we
you
love
got your life
Sam.
jacket on?
I have my
Sam doesn't. Okay.
I undid it because I want everyone to see my Shendy shirt. I'm very proud to her. So you take the baby and you would just dunk the baby like this and hold the child underwater, and all of the parents, including me, are sitting behind the glass, and we're all freaked out about why is he holding the baby under the water, and I actually tap on the glass and tell the person working there to yell at him.
The glass tapping has to stop.
Right.
That technique that you just showed everyone live is an excellent technique.
Okay.
I use it personally.
Okay.
Other schools and other places use different techniques. Some blow in the baby's face and put them under the water.
Yeah, I know about
do
that one.
submersion techniques. I personally do the old 1-2 under the water, where the water shoots beside the mouth and the nose, and typically there's enough time for the child to do a little dunk without taking water in most of the time. Hands have to be very relaxed, and you're not choking your child. It's essentially on the chest
keep the
and
airway
on the back, open, and 1-2. So as scary as that may seem for so many parents that haven't seen that technique, it does work, and it does help with getting a child interested in swimming, but also part of the submersion technique program. And most importantly, at a young age, children should start swimming lessons. We start them as early as 6 months here at the swim school. I always say it's nice if they have head control and that they can sit up, because then they can appreciate the lesson a little bit more.
Okay, so my question is, before they start their swim lessons, which was going to be my next question of when they should start them, but there was things that you said you could do at home to get, because a lot of the kids are scared. My point of that story is that a lot of kids are scared to go in the water, put their head under the water. They have a fear of water, which luckily I never had with my kids because I hasn't dunked them.
Yeah, the old dunker.
Right, but what could you do at home to get your kids comfortable with the water before they start?
The bathtub is supposed to be a safe place for them to immerse themselves in water.
Okay.
Proper depth, good temperature. The kids are comfortable in the water. They can start. You can mimic bubble blowing in the bathtub.
Which I'm sure they love.
You can have them submerge if you want, but they have to be under strict parent and guardian supervision, because unfortunately we also have statistics in our country and around the world in bathtub drownings. So
I was gonna say, when do you think? Like, my daughter's 6, and she tried to do camp for a day, and then she went for the weekend. So it's actually a funny story, which I'm sure a lot of you could relate to. She's starting to read, so she didn't know what shampoo or conditioner was, and I thought that the staff would help her, the counselors, which they didn't. So my niece at 7 was helping her. But anyway, so she never really showered alone.
Right.
But she fully knows how to swim.
Yep.
She's doing swimming lessons with you still, because we want her to teach swimming lessons one day too, because you make a lot of good money out there.
She's already on the list.
She's on the list.
I think 2026.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when could a kid shower by themselves?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't have an answer to that. I'm not an expert.
Okay.
Let's go back to the bath.
Okay.
Showering by themselves. Listen, at overnight camp, they probably most likely are showering by themselves at as early as.
But that's
6,
so
6
crazy
and a half.
to me. It's
As
crazy.
long- as
Does
long
anyone
as-
else think that that's crazy? Because I do.
Just write in.
Yeah,
But
just write in.
what I think about that, just a common sense answer would be, if they're at camp and their supervisor or counselor are nearby the shower, within calling distance, that's the most important. Obviously, the counselor's not going to go in the shower with them, although some camps have communal showers and they can be seen, and that way the supervision is right there.
Right.
Back to bathtubs, there's a line that the Life Saving Society had come out with many, many years ago called Within Arm's Reach. We say within arm's reach, a parent must be to their child at a bathtub or a pool or a lake or an ocean, wherever. It's all about parental supervision. Don't assume that even your 6 or 7-year-old is fine to swim in the shallow end. It's always important that a supervisor, a parent, a guardian, a lifeguard is watching the children.
And I think that's, not to interrupt you, I think that is something that people take for granted, because I think that a lot of people, when they're at the swimming pool, we often are sitting there, we're having a drink, we're talking with our friends, we're having a coffee, whatever, and you kind of take your eyes off. And sometimes you'll be like, oh, I'm just running to the bathroom,
Yeah.
watch my kid. People aren't really watching your kids.
That's right.
It's dangerous even for those 2 minutes. I
Yep.
know that my nephew, actually, that happened, they were having a party by the pool. All the kids were swimming. There were older nieces and nephews and cousins in the pool. And she said, I'm just going inside. I'll be right back. And her kids started to drown because people were watching their kids. They're talking, whatever. So
Within
these
arm's
accidents
reach.
happen so quickly.
Within arm's reach, those 3 words are so key because we do get distracted.
Right.
You have every right to go to the washroom, but the procedure should be the kid comes out of the water, your child comes out of the water, goes with you, or you pass off to another parent or person to watch your child, and then when you return, your child goes back in the water. If it is lifeguarded and you have a child that can swim, as long as the lifeguard is doing their job, then your kids are safe in the pool. But as a parent who may be standing by, always be within arm's reach or within an eye shot of your children. As well, I just want to add, pool parties can be problematic, but they can also be fun. So it's really important that if you're having a pool party, that you know the swim ability of each child that is coming to your party. If it's a
Sorry, guys, I'm just a little bit hot. I'm getting a little comfortable. It's
Turn the air conditioning on, please.
It's freezing outside, and
You
it
want to
is.
take this life jacket off now? You're
You know
safe?
what? Let me. I'm good with my life.
Okay, so anyways, it's all about supervision, keeping an eye on the children. That's what it is. Whether it's at
And
a
what
party.
about our friendly noodle?
Well, this isn't a common noodle. This is a pretty high-end noodle. A lot of the ladies that do
Where do you
Aquafitness at
purchase
Shendy's. You can purchase noodles at Canadian Tire, Sporting Goods store, probably Sport Check at certain times of the year.
Do you do swim classes for adults like Aquafit?
We offer Aquafit here at Shendy's 3 times a week at 9:15 to 10 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, taught by some excellent teachers.
What ages are normally in that? This is very important.
Aquafit
It's actually
really
one of the best exercises.
all ages.
I know.
December 2015 was my first and last class.
Okay.
I should be doing it more often, but I did a class and I found that it was one of the greatest workouts.
It is. It's an incredible workout. And Esther Waxman.
Who's she?
Esther is a lovely lady.
Yeah.
She's doing our Mom Chat Mondays.
Oh.
And she's giving advice to the younger mothers of Pink and Blue. And Esther would love to do an Aquafit class.
Well, I would love Esther to come out.
And do a
because
class.
I understand, and this is no disrespect to the populations that are suffering from arthritis, fibromyalgia.
I have arthritis in my spine as well.
Joint pain, back pain, neck pain. You have to pace yourself in an Aquafit class, and that's what the instructor is really good at doing.
Okay.
From shallow end to deep end, we have a cross-section of ages, abilities. Everybody can do Aquafitness, and that is the wonderful program that we've been running here at Shendy's for 5 years.
Oh, that's good.
One of many.
Right.
We offer Learn
We
to
should do
Swimming.
jazzercise.
We're going to stick with
Jazzercise
Aquafit.
in the Aquafit with some like pepped up music.
Well, maybe if Esther's qualified, she could also help teach
Maybe she
classes.
could. That would be wonderful. I'm
see
going to
that
talk
happening.
to Esther. I could see that.
Fabulous.
We're gonna see-
Moving on,
Yeah.
dear. You're getting
Okay,
sidetracked.
So tell me what the key ingredients to a successful and productive swim class for children.
Number 1,
No, but my question was about the noodle, about using this when you're leaving a kid unattended in the pool.
unattended.
Not
Oh,
unattended, but like if you're walking away and you're like, okay, I'm going to the bathroom, I'll be right back. That was my point of my question.
I would never leave a child unattended.
Well, they're with an adult, but you're
Yeah.
kind of running. You're the the
Yeah, a
person
noodle
that's
works. A noodle works as long as they have stability on the noodle.
But if they're not a great swimmer, you wouldn't suggest.
No, I would highly recommend the one most important device, and that would be a life jacket.
Okay.
That would be number 1.
Okay.
Number 2,
the floaties.
something that is a flotation aid. There are a lot of parents that buy the puddle jumper for the 2-year-olds or even less than 2. We have people that are very interested in this lovely product called the Swim Fin. The Swim Fin
Tell us about how that works.
This is a teaching aid where you have the straps in the front.
Right.
And children that have enough core strength can literally swim across. It helps develop their confidence, their ability to swim and move in a forward fashion. If they're swimming with their face down, it gives them the boost that they need to lift their head, which many 3 to 4-year-old children have difficulty with.
Okay.
We use it as a teaching aid at Shendy's, and a lot of facilities are now using this to help with instructor-led classes.
Okay.
If parents are interested in buying this, without doing too much of an advertisement. They can get them at swimfincanada.com.
Okay.
And it's a great
Do you
helpful.
suggest these over the big? I wanted to wear them today for our live. I apologize, I didn't bring them, but the big orange
Armbands?
armbands.
I personally am not a fan of the armbands. They
Okay.
do deflate.
Okay.
They do give very little in the way of swimming. Like, they'll work on their kicking, but I find that, like a swim fin, for example, they have their arms and legs free completely from shoulder down. I would suggest the puddle jumper, which does have an armband and a float.
And that's
goes
one
right across.
and it clips in the back. I
Yeah.
like that as well.
Yeah, but again, if you are on a lake, in a boat, it has to be a Coast Guard accepted device, and so it would say that right on the product.
Okay. So basically, the long and short of it is, if you have these orange ones from the dollar store, it's not going to cut it.
I wouldn't suggest those.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of moms, that's what they're
using.
That's what they use.
Or
they have these things, which you have in the back, which
Flotation boats.
Yeah.
Great for
And
young
for
kids.
babies,
no
what age?
problem. This can be as young as 3-4 months.
Okay.
You can fit them right in there. Most importantly, that a parent must be by the side of whatever flotation aid they're using, including the armbands.
Okay.
Those are fine for recreational use as long as parents are not leaving the child unattended.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to kind of go over some of that, because I think that those are important things, because a lot of people, that's what they're doing. So let's get back to the question though. What are the key ingredients that's a successful and productive swim class for a child that you would...
Number one would be the swimming instructor.
Okay.
The teacher, whether they're on land teaching in a school or in a swim class or in a dance class, always brings the class to life.
Okay.
An enthusiastic, knowledgeable, qualified swimming instructor teaching a class, whether there's 1, 2, or 8 children in a class, because many programs will have a varied ratio. Parents say, well, what's the best ratio? The truth is, as long as it's a led instructor, qualified class, and they manage the class well enough, and the kids are moving and able to work on their kicking skills, their flotation, their submersion skills,
Yeah.
the productivity of the class brings in the successful ingredients. Use of flotation aids to work on changing it up, working on flotation, stroke work, if they're old enough, diving. A mixture, making it a creative class adds to the...
I know you guys sometimes have toys, and you guys make it a little bit more fun. The kids jump in, and it makes them comfortable to go to you. I mean,
Right.
These are little things as a parent, because
Yeah.
I know you do this every day, and you're
Yeah.
also in charge of a lot of the director. You were a director at Crestwood,
Yep.
and so forth. So you're in this every day, so you don't notice all these little details. But as a parent watching through the window,
Yeah.
those are the
It's
things
important.
that make it fun, right? So
There are two trains of thought. There are parents that say no toys for my child because they just came from the toy room in their house.
Okay.
Or they've reached a point where they don't need toys to calm them down before they get into class. I do find the separation from parent to instructor might be difficult in the beginning, especially if it's the first time a child's been separated from their parent
Right.
in an activity. So that's where the toys come in. We use that as fun. I thought I had a flotation book here somewhere, one of the floaty books. Oh,
here it
clean
is.
the
Here,
table
no,
there.
here it is.
Anyways, reading a child a story in the water.
Right.
We do this in my parent and taught classes. We have about 7 parent and taught classes throughout the week. We have kids that range from 6 months to 2.5 years in this class.
Right.
Sometimes children will require a longer period with their parent. I don't think that should be discouraged
Okay.
until they're fully
Until they're
comfortable,
comfortable.
moving into a instructor-led class.
And so I know that you do parent and taught,
Yeah.
which I did not participate in. I apologize. I
Uh-huh.
admit it. I sent my husband. He's the swimmer in the family, even
But
though I'm
I
from Florida.
Did tell you that the prerequisite of me doing this
Is
would
for
be
me
the
to do a cannonball. Forgot my bathing suit.
But we will let Esther Waxman take that.
Yeah, I
role.
think that would be great.
Okay.
And
what else?
but you need a swim cap for her. She's not going to get her hair wet.
I
in the
understand.
water.
One of those puffy ones that you find
Yeah.
in cheap hotels?
Yes.
Okay.
Or like even the plastic cap, so your hair doesn't get in the water.
As long as you're not allergic to latex.
Okay. So, so what age do you do the parent and taught?
We start them at 6 months.
Okay.
And we go up to 2.5 years. And then once they've had a session or two, 8 to 10 weeks with the parent, we teach the techniques to the parents. So if they go on vacation, they know how to hold their child. At the 2.5 mark, that's when we find from 2.5 up, they may be ready to move on to an instructor-led class.
Okay, so another question that I have is when you're doing the parent and taught classes, I know that you guys give, which I love about Shendy's, and I don't know if other swim schools do this, but you guys give almost like a little report card and the level of swimming.
Yeah, many programs do. They should give some sort of feedback to parents.
A lot of
so
them
that
are
way,
lazy and they don't want to.
That's why when they leave Shendy's and they go to another reputable swim program because the schedule doesn't work out,
or you're full
whatever.
Because Shendy's fills up so quick.
That is not a good. I don't like that part of my reputation. I do feel badly about that. But we've been in business for 5 years. We are full, and we do find that parents that have their kids swim all year long are able to keep their space once they leave the spot.
Yeah, of course. Like sometimes we leave for winter because we go away and then we come back, and
you have to be flexible about moving maybe to another time, or you have to wait for your time to come back.
So, but when people are doing so, or even when they're going to camp. So a lot of the thing that I found, and I don't know if you could talk about this, is a lot of parents might have this question, is that the swim level doesn't correlate to a lot of the camps level
or
of
program.
Swimming.
I think that in a perfect world, every program would be running the same program. Same levels, but that is not what's
Is it
happening.
by the province? Is it like, how is that
No,
done?
it could be by the province, could be by the country, there could be a national program. It's really, in our case, an Ontario-led program decision. You could have a Red Cross program, Life Saving Learn to Swim program, YMCA, Ultras in the city of Toronto. You could have a private school that runs their own program. It's really up to the program to help educate the parent and look at the criteria on the report card, and then the camp program might have to do some matching up or a reassessment to try and find the right level. Most important thing is not to confuse parents, but to let them know that they will be placed in the most appropriate class, and the programs will do the work to try and find the right level.
Okay.
Yeah, but ultimately one day, hopefully we'll all come into sync with each other. That's really one of the goals that we have.
So some parents find it confusing to choose which program is right for their child.
Right.
So how do you suggest them doing
that?
Yeah.
I would suggest that they call the facility, ask about what program they offer, find out how many children might be in a class, check out ratios.
What is your ratio at Shendy?
Our typical ratio is 3-to-1 for up to the higher levels, like basically our preschool to the end of our 10-level program. Usually there are 3 kids. At the end of the program there may be 4, and as they go into the life-saving levels beyond bronze, instructors, and lifeguard, those classes start to go up in numbers because
they're
work with other kids.
Right, of course. So parents always love the flotation devices to take on a vacation or trip where there is a lake or ocean. What would you recommend?
Really good question.
I know we talked about it a little bit.
We did, but once you get into some of that unknown water
you're
stuff,
not going to, let's say, take that with you on a vacation.
No.
And a lot of places, like, they have the noodles. I wanted to also bring my blow-up device from the dollar store, the little rings.
Yeah, I would.
They're all selling it by the pool.
Yeah. I mean, you can use what they have there, but if you're talking about a lake that you're unfamiliar with, or an ocean that may have currents,
be careful of alligators in Florida. There's an alligator that ate a kid last year.
Is there someone else that can do the interview, dear? No, I'm just kidding. What I would recommend is perhaps at those locations there may be flotation devices. I would have parents just call ahead and say, what do you have there?
Okay.
Otherwise, it's tough to pack a very bulky life jacket, but there may be things that you can take. You could probably take, maybe pack a flutter board.
Okay.
I think that when you're talking about lakes and oceans, you have to check them out first before your kids start running into them. Check out the environment, make sure it's safe for them to go in. If you need them in a flotation aid, the best one around those areas, 100%, is a life jacket.
Okay.
So some parents actually invest, unfortunately.
And they buy one.
They buy one, and they figure out a way to get it back, or they give it to the next family, donate it, sell it.
Because even, and I hate to keep going back to my own children, but we were there 2 weeks ago in Florida.
Yeah.
The ocean was really rough. Both of my kids are great swimmers.
Yeah.
But I was like this close to them, and I was running to get them.
it just knocks
them.
Yeah. The safest place would be a pool.
Right.
And frankly, the parents need to know how to swim.
Okay.
This is a big one.
Okay.
New Canadians, people that have had their children take lessons, but they themselves don't know how to swim. It's very difficult for safety around water when parents are now in charge where
Right.
they can't swim. So I also recommend that adults consider getting some lessons, starting later in life, doesn't matter. Swimming is a life skill and it has to be learned. If they're by water that's shallow, I would definitely have hand-holding stuff happening, parents holding on to their children. And then once they get older and stronger, they can take on some of the waves and some of the fun. But most importantly, they have to know the depth of the water, and if it's dark, then a flotation aid, a life-saving device needs to be worn.
And what about, like I know in pools, I know this is kind of maybe a stupid question, but other people may have
No,
it.
nothing's too
Is
stupid.
when people are swimming and the kids go underwater. When I used to go underwater, I
Yeah.
always closed my eyes,
Yeah,
especially in chlorine. I know a lot of pools now are salt water, but that
Yeah.
still could burn.
right.
And you have the goggles and so forth. Do you always recommend that the kids are wearing goggles? Do you see like a problem with?
I personally
Eye
am
irritation
of the
and-
belief that goggles are fine
Okay.
as long as kids, if it's during a lesson, if they start to fiddle with them too long and it takes away from the lesson itself, then we probably suggest they don't wear goggles. It's nice
Okay.
to teach kids to open their eyes under the water. That would be another suggestion I'd have for parents, and that would be, ensure that the chlorine levels or the salt levels, whatever the disinfectant is in the pool, if it's a pool they're learning in, doesn't burn their eyes.
Right.
It should be a program where they could potentially open their eyes.
Right.
In your day, in my day, it was just the dosages of chlorine was off the charts
Right.
in many cases. No disrespect to the people in the 70s, or in her case, the 60s.
But a lot of times they do that. They there's kids. We were at a resort. The kids are throwing up in the water. They're just pumping it with chlorine. I
Yeah.
mean, it's.
Well, I would choose a different resort. But I have no problem with people wearing goggles.
Right.
As long as they're not fiddling with them, if it makes them more comfortable. The idea is what is going to make a child more comfortable in
And
water.
feel safe,
Yeah,
and the
I mean,
parent feels secure.
In some cases, we'll put a swim fin on them, we'll give them flotation weights, we'll put a noodle under that just to sort of simulate what it's like to swim.
Okay.
And then we'll start removing pieces.
Okay.
Like, for example, this swim fin we'll put on for 5 minutes in a class.
Yeah.
My instructor will use it for 5 minutes. Take it off, try the same skill without it.
It's like
Because
riding a bike.
Yeah, it's muscle memory.
Okay.
And that's what we find to be useful. There are people that really say no goggles. There are programs that say no goggles. I am.
See, I'm glad I have good questions.
That's right. You know what? For that, I'm going to give you some Shendy's lip balm.
Oh, thank you.
Sold exclusively at Shendy's.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Enjoy that.
I'm just going to use that right now. Okay, so
Okay, let me open
what
that. I'll open that
would
for
be important to know about having
I'll open that for
a pool party? ladies
Well,
and
once
gentlemen.
again, we talked about pool parties. The idea is to ensure that the supervision is on high. So hire a lifeguard who knows what they're doing. Have parents within arm's reach.
Do you guys have people that if they were doing a pool party, they could call Shendy's and get somebody, an instructor?
That is not something we do here. We are strictly a learn-to-swim facility,
Okay.
and we train lifeguards and we train instructors.
But do you have
We have
a list of
Aquafit.
lifeguards that they could?
Well,
call?
the deal with that, without getting too deep into legality,
Yeah.
is what we don't see, we can't really insure
Okay.
if we were to send lifeguards out.
Okay.
I would recommend people call the Life Saving Society at 416-490-8844
He
and
knows
say,
his-
how do I get a lifeguard for my family pool party?
I love that the
But
lip balm
I
is your
don't think
telephone.
lip balm is your telephone. So I can use this. Hey, Nicole, how are you?
Good,
Oh,
how you
sorry.
doing?
Okay. Anyways, that we have fun like that in the pool too, especially with those flotation weights. And so that's what I would recommend. We don't do pool parties here because we just are jammed with lessons.
Right. Who would know that interviewing Shendy would be so much fun?
Hey,
I'm
I think
thoroughly
that-
enjoying this.
I have a feeling
this
it's
interview.
not just you that believes that.
Right.
I have some friends out there. All right.
So what would you say to parents that are nervous about being around the pool or nervous about the water themselves? I mean, I don't want to talk too much about myself, but I'm from Florida.
Yeah.
The funniest thing is you Canadians, Canucks, all do swimming lessons, crazy.
Yeah.
And it's funny to me because the ocean is more dangerous than the lake.
Right.
I don't know if you'd concur with that.
course I would.
And
yeah, absolutely.
we did some swimming lessons in school, but really I got a note every day because I didn't want my hair to be frizzy.
Yeah.
And it's freezing, and in Florida they pump the air conditioning, so you're freezing when you go back to class. Anyway,
Yep.
you don't do swimming lessons.
Right.
Now parents do, because our generation are a little bit more, conscientious and really know that it's an important skill to learn.
Yeah.
But why do you, if, a lot of parents, like even my sister, your kids know how to swim. They're such great swimmers. People are so shocked when we go.
Yeah.
Why do they need to continue swimming lessons?
Number one, it's a real commitment that a parent has to make to follow their kids through the levels, or at least the skills,
Right.
in order for them to finally swim, similar to riding a bike. They have to invest to that point. Some who don't have enough funds to do that,
Right.
there are grants that are available. Schools are getting on board because they're finding there's far too many drownings.
Mm-hmm.
In the U.S., for example, there are far more pools and water swimming areas, waterfronts, lakefronts, than, let's say, here in Canada, even though we have more water.
Right.
And as a result, there are more drownings. So places all around the world typically have a higher drowning rate than Canada. We, because of this world initiative, swimming lessons is becoming the top three ways to avoid this whole drowning piece. So I think you're going to see more lessons cropping up. You're going to see more pools opening. Community centers are going to have to open their arms. Municipal programs, camp programs. That's why I have a real hard time with one major thing, and that is that when they shut down camp for 3-year-olds a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We're
all aware of that.
Because of this early years
Yeah,
act.
but that was due to a kid drowning.
There's a 2-year-old who, I believe, passed away in an unregulated day.
Right.
The story.
We're going to
around
keep
that.
this fun and friendly.
Let's keep it fun.
Yeah.
The point is that one of Canada's initiatives is to teach kids that are under 4 who happen to be unfortunately vulnerable to drowning.
Okay.
So we want to teach these kids to swim earlier, and summer camp programs was a way to do that in many cases.
Right.
So now that we've lost that, parents need to find a program to get their kids into, and sometimes they struggle because they struggle with, do we take our kids to soccer, hockey, swimming,
So you kind of
dance?
I'm in that position now, which a lot of the parents of PINK&BLUE have kids around the same age. So you have your 6-year-old. My kid is so overprogrammed. I write articles on overprogramming, and yet
Right.
I do it myself. I'm guilty. But now you have to kind of start weaning their programs and what's important. And swimming is at the top of our list.
I mean, I'm biased, obviously, because
Right.
I run a swim center.
Right.
But I've done a whole bunch of other things in my life. I've run camps. I was a teacher for 12 years, and I've committed myself to providing learn to swim programs. And I'm going to say, as a parent, that it for sure is one of the number one things that you have to do for your children. And once again, I would suggest that if you are a parent who cannot swim, get out there and take the
Learn.
leap and learn. Even if you've had a traumatic experience, these instructors are trained to teach you to make your way in comfortably into the water.
Do you use swim fins on adults?
We actually do.
Okay.
We have larger straps for older kids, and we have had adults wear that.
Right.
What I find adults are really interested in would be wearing this life jacket, because they want full flotation when they move into deeper water, as opposed to having to do any work.
Right.
They want to feel that flotation, but then we'll get this off,
Right.
and we'll put something like that on, so then
Is
they
it
can-
harder to teach adults? I would assume it is.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like anything.
Right.
You know,
It's harder as an adult to grasp.
it is, because there's too much analysis.
So, but back to the question. So, what skills are they continuing to learn? So, if my kid really knows how to swim, why am I continuing to do? Just
That's
so
a
that
really
their
good point.
strokes are
Proficient,
right,
so that they
and
can swim longer distances. So if you do other activities
that's
around
my
water,
problem. I can't swim far in a lake. Like I get tired. I'm out of
so
breath.
you'll be coming out with Esther, and
Right.
you'll be doing some lessons.
Right.
Even if you can't commit to 8, come for 3.
Right.
And then we can see where you're at, and we can move you ahead that way. Practice will help.
And
as
you
well.
want to get like the correct
technique.
techniques and
Exactly.
head movements and emotions.
Exactly, but as
I still can't dive.
well, we'll start with the cannonball. in a few
Yeah.
minutes.
See, and
Um,
then belly flops.
Back to your question.
Yeah.
I would suggest that they keep going up the ranks.
Okay.
Why? Because we have felt in the swim business that there has been a shortage of instructors and lifeguards to be able to watch the water, to teach children to swim. We need more of that. So I'm telling kids that are 7, it sounds horrible, but like, I'll see you in 7 years to assist, and then in 9 years you'll be teaching. And it's not about keeping them for the business. It's
Right.
about hoping that they continue because they're on the right track, they're learning, and down the road, you know, they're impressionable and they can remember stuff like that. Like,
Right.
hey, part-time job, right? Shendy said something about that 9 years
Right.
ago. But we need to continue the flow and continuing the cycle of people teaching others to swim
Right.
as they get older.
Right.
So when someone says, how long should I have lessons? Well, let's start with until they can swim a certain distance.
Okay.
There's some that would say a swim to survive distance could be about 50 meters.
Okay.
Without a life jacket, be able to tread water, surface support for a minute or two. And then there are others that would be as long as my child is comfortable swimming in deep water. And then there are other parents that say, I can't wait till they start teaching down the road. So
Right. Well,
it's
we're
a
in the
choice.
teaching, but a lot of my nieces and nephews have also taught teaching.
Yeah.
They work at, you know, different camps, and they are, you know, counselors, and it really, it's an amazing skill, and it's something that I kind of overlooked myself.
Right.
So now even after talking to you, I've learned so much, and I understand more of the importance. But it is something that people kind of, they don't need it. But
Right.
when you hear about a drowning, you hear about serious situations, you kind of have a different outlook on it.
That's
so
right.
I know
That's
I'm
right.
joking a little bit to lighten up, you know, the live and to make it fun and
It's
exciting,
all
but
about
it is
fun.
a very
I mean, we
serious.
can get on the horn and talk
we
about
sure
it. You know what I'm
can, but it's
saying?
a very serious.
Serious topic.
Yeah. So tell me about working at Shendy's, or you
Or
know,
anywhere.
anything else about being a lifeguard in general.
Well, typically when you finish the Learn to Swim program, you can move on to the life-saving levels, and in this case we offer Bronze Medallion, Bronze Cross. Then we have an assistant instructor program when students turn 14.
Okay.
And then they can assist and actually get a feel of what it's like to teach with instructors. And when they turn 16, they can take their instructor certification and their lifeguard qualifications. And for my camp colleagues who are always looking for instructors, it's really
I was
important
going to
that
say, how do you partner with the camps?
they will be looking for instructors. We have about 50 to 60 part-time staff here at Shendy's. We only use about 5 to 10 in the summer. So we have them apply to whoever
Right.
whoever needs.
And do you work
instructors.
with other swim schools to kind of, because I know that, you know, you are full.
Yep.
But still call, you know, give a call to Shendy's and see.
Give a
because-
call. We'll
give a
pass
call.
you on, or you can come.
What's the
put
number
your-
to Shendy's?
It's 576-SWIM.
Okay. And
Seven
what's
up.
your email?
Uh,
info@shendys.com?
Well, you can send to register at shendys.com.
Okay.
If you're, again, looking for swim fins, swimfincanada.com. And just going back to
Yeah.
your point with colleagues
Yeah.
in the industry,
Yeah.
we do have what we call PAC, a consortium of private swim schools. The Professional Aquatic Council, made up of many, collaborate and discuss things that are important and coming up through the swim industry.
Okay.
And there's lots of conferences that we attend to just make our programs better.
Well, that is very informative. Thank you so much for sharing.
My
I'm going to
pleasure.
go over here and see if anyone had any questions. So somebody said, I just did it. I just didn't.
Great. I guess you
I don't
signed
know.
up for a swim program.
Yeah. And people are sharing it. There are a lot of people tuning in. Hello, Polly.
Hi, Polly.
How are you? There are over 516 people that have been viewing with us today.
Fabulous.
So far, you know, and it's going to continue to climb.
I don't have that much lip balm, but
Yeah.
but I do have some toques as we get ready for the winter
Oh,
season.
that's one of my favorite Canadian terms.
There you go.
A
Oh,
toque.
toque, eh?
Yeah, you want to get a toque and go out and about, eh? We're going to go to Canada. We have our
Oh, no.
Shendy Swim Center lip
Oh,
balm.
jeez.
We're just going to put on our little Shendy's hat over here.
Oh, I had one of those. Where'd it go? Oh, it's right over there. Can you grab it? It's on the water cooler, eh?
Eh? So you're just going to go out and about.
We'll take them now for the next 2 minutes, and then we got to sign off.
You're going to go out and about,
'Cause
and you're
it's
just
lunch.
going to, you know, we want you to like us and comment, show your love. You know, all you Canucks out there.
Yep.
They're teaching your kids how to swim.
Right?
You know, before we go, I want to just touch on these. I know you just put them here for fun.
Yeah.
And I know-
Squeeze toys.
Squeeze toys. I know you use them in the pool.
Yeah, excellent for tactile kids that need something to squeeze or play with.
But
Calms them
I
down.
have a comment for all of you,
Uh-oh,
which
here we
you
go.
might not have thought of.
Okay.
So these are great. I'm sure that the chlorine, it kind of disinfects it. You guys refresh them.
No. We must squeeze out all the water,
Okay.
every drip, after every day.
Okay, so the problem is parents at home. I have something to tell you.
Yes.
Cut open your squeaky toys because you are not draining them because you're doing bath and you kind of just go like that once and
Yeah.
you throw it in a bucket
Right.
and
Notice how no water came out of that.
Right.
Or maybe just a little mist.
yeah, nothing actually.
Right. See that?
Just air. There's mold.
Yes, there is.
So cut them open, not to freak you guys out, but just that's
actually a really good tip.
It's great, it's cute,
Yeah.
but you guys are professionals at
Yes,
Shendy's.
we are professional squeeze toy people.
Yeah.
But for those of you at home, again, it's a great tip that
And
Nicole...
this is my baby. So we're just gonna take Joey over here.
All right. I
Do
see
you
some
want-
questions
do you-
coming up. Any questions? There's one here.
Swimming hashtag. My boy is a 6 months when I signed him up into swimming classes.
Okay.
Well, that's
a great
that's,
age.
That's
When I suggest that.
Let's see if there's anything else. I'm just
There are countries
refreshing.
that actually recommend age 4. And personally, I think that's too late to immerse kids in water and have fun in water. The parent and taught classes
Right.
should be fun, musical, lots of movement so the children are comfortable.
What about CPR if a kid drowns?
That is a really good point. I would highly recommend that for the purposes of children or adults or seniors, everybody should take a CPR course. That is
Right.
a fantastic...
Because I did one pregnant.
Yes.
And so that I don't advise because basically I didn't remember anything.
Well,
I was
that's
hungry
the end of the
or
whole
sharing.
CPR for pregnant people.
No, I mean, I think you can do it. Don't do it at the end of your pregnancy.
You're right.
I was closer to term and I was hungry. We're passing around food and I don't really remember much.
Yep.
My husband did wonderful,
Yep.
which is good. At least one of us remembers.
Great.
But also having, if you have a nanny or caregiver or your parents are watching your kids, how often do you refresh your CPR?
I always recommend every year,
Okay.
but some certifications are good for 2, so no less than 2 years.
So mine's 6 years old when I was pregnant. So you could ask me how much I remember.
How much do you remember?
Nothing. No, I
Okay.
remember a little. I mean, you take the baby and you blow some air.
Yeah, I won't do this live.
No,
I
we're
mean,
not going to do this.
But I would highly
but this
recommend
is something
signing up
to-
for a
to
CPR course. We
support.
do family CPR courses and first aid courses, minor first aid. We have a lot of children out there and adults that have anaphylaxis, carry EpiPens, they have inhalers.
Okay.
Everyone must be educated on these things.
Okay.
We have people that unfortunately are passing out, having heart attacks, stroke. We have an aging population.
Right.
So all the more reason to take a course and learn how to properly handle the situation. But the reality is,
Yeah.
no one really knows how they're going to react
When
Until
you're in that situation.
until they
So
see that.
I'm just going to close off the session. Let's see if anything else to add. But if your kid is drowning, if it is a baby or if it is an older kid, obviously you drag them to the side of the pool and you jump in. Is
The
there
idea
anything?
is to take a breath, relax, go in as quickly as possible, but more importantly,
Okay.
you have to make sure that you check the environment because you don't want to have another victim. And if it's your child, it's very difficult not to run after and go after your child.
Right.
So just make sure that you're going into the safe area, alert people. The faster you get to your child, the better. But you won't even reach that point if
Mhm.
you're within arm's reach.
Right. And that's the
So-
most important thing. So Shendy kept reiterating throughout this is to be at arm's reach. I mean, a lot of us, and I'm guilty as well, is that we're on a lounge chair at the pool. So really, you have to be more...
Take turns with your spouse if
Right.
you have one. Otherwise, if you have an
Yeah.
older child that has life-saving training, there are families that will put those people in charge as long as they are trained and you are close by.
Mhm.
Then that is also another.
And what
safety
if a kid is drowning in the water, and you pull them out? The first thing you do is put them over to get the water out.
Well, you can put them in a comfortable position, either semi-prone, which is on their side, and maybe some of the water would come out,
Okay.
assuming they're conscious.
Okay.
And then the other position could be semi-sit, where they can sit up as long as their back is
Propped up.
propped up, and you might be behind them or whoever's helping. And then, of course, I would highly recommend a trip to a medical facility, talk to
Emergency
a
room.
nurse, just to make sure that they are
Right.
free and clear from any other concerns that may come down the line.
Right. So all of this is just friendly advice. We're just trying to help out. So obviously seek professional advice or, do your own research or call
I have seen parents kind of get really upset with their children if they do things around water that is unacceptable, like push other kids in, like dive in a shallow area, run on the deck. I think that there are lessons to be learned, but screaming and yelling, not a good technique. We know that that doesn't really work.
Right.
But you can sit your child down and talk about the importance of water safety. Anybody that comes to our pool, our lakefronts, our waterfronts, need to understand the safety measures that need to be in place, the rules, and if they don't follow them, this is an area where you may not be able to partake in that activity.
Right.
So that is
so you know, it is swimming. I mean, swimming is fun, but it is serious also, and you know, so when you're having your pool parties, make sure that you have a lifeguard and start your swimming lessons early. What was the age that you said that it started?
Well, we started 6 months. There are programs that start earlier.
Right.
But immerse your child in the bath with you sitting right there with your hand on your child. See if you can pour some water on your child's head, even over the eyes, because we do have a lot of kids that come swimming that will not put their face under the water. We do not force the face under the water either.
Right.
Sometimes I have to tell a parent, it might
Except if you're Michael Bloomberg, and he will do it for you very happily.
I guess his name is not privacy protected here.
No.
Okay, so anyhow...
No, Michael's very proud of his...
Yeah, I'm sure he's watching from China right now.
Do you know how many kids he has put their head under the water? Like,
far
for
too
parents?
many.
Yeah, he's the dunker.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
He's the dunker.
But he also, like I said, he went through all of the, like, he was a swimming instructor.
Right.
So.
Right. So he's trained to do that.
Right.
So that is the story, and I thank you for allowing me to talk to you today.
Yeah, thank you. It was so informative. Thank you for all of you tuning in. And lastly, I just want to ask, is there any articles on your website about any of the things that we've discussed?
Well, at Shendys.com, you can see our programs, you can see our beginnings and what we do here.
Okay.
There are lots of articles on
the World Wide Web.
Water safety.
Right.
I think that you might even be able to find something on preventing drowning through the World Health Organization if you Google that up. And again, Canada has come out with their national plan, which is considered a first edition, because as we learn more about water and water safety, things will be embedded in our own national plan and in our communities to avoid accidents around the water.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks
it was
for
a
having
pleasure. And thank you for all my goodies. I'm very excited about my ShamWow towel.
Oh, these were just for show.
Oh, I'm not getting one.
You can pick either pink
or
blue.
What is it? It's microfiber.
One for each child.
Stop the noise, ladies and
so
gentlemen.
If anyone out there is
Thank
a client of mine, unfortunately I can't give them all away.
Right.
But for you, a special gift.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm going to put it in my Halloween basket.
All right. See
ya.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Bye, guys. Signing off.
That was long.
Hold on.